I'd like to talk with you today about indicators of hearing loss. How do you know you're having hearing loss, or maybe your loved one is having hearing loss? So there's a few things you can look for. There's the obvious ones. They can't hear you. They say what? But what about the more subtle ones? You may notice a shift from them looking in your eyes to looking at your lips. And where lip reading will come into play to help hear better, it's a great indicator that they're no longer able to hear without those facial cues. The other one is leaning forward, really kind of almost squinting and trying to be, in your face. They cannot understand unless they're right here with you. And where I have no problem with that intimacy of conversation, it's natural to be able to hear conversation going on around you and not be limited to being within that very close distance with the talker. What this will often cause with the hearing impaired patient is that they'll get a really sore neck. They get exhausted more easily. At the end of maybe a social environment where they're constantly straining to hear, they're just exhausted. People say it this way, well, I hear but I don't understand. Well, understanding speech, that is hearing. So if you're hearing, once your ears and your hearing start diminishing, the first thing to go is that ability to understand. So if you feel like, wow, I hear sounds fine, but I don't have understanding, that's still considered hearing loss. So hearing but not understanding, straining to hear. Hearing should be very easy. With normal hearing, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to make sure the person's in the right place. You just hear. And once you have your hearing tested and find out there's some problem, wearing hearing aids will take you right back to that spot where it's easy to hear. You can have a conversation with your spouse at the same time that you're doing the dishes. So it's an exciting bit of hope that you don't have to struggle. You don't have to constantly be working to hear. You can just sit back, relax, and hear your life.